Welcome back to the Bear Down Podcast here inside the Arkansas A&M Black Bears Dynasty on NCAA Football 14, guys. What a week it has been for our Black Bears. They jumped up to the #1 team in the country. We'll talk about that more here in a few minutes. We're getting ready for rivalry week. Arkansas State, we're headed out on the road to Jonesboro to take on the 3-3 Red Wolves. In today's video, we'll look back at the past 3 games. We'll also look ahead to the next 3. We'll take a look at recruiting. We'll take a look at the top plays from the week. And we sit down with Coach Thomas again. This should be a good one, man. Strap in. It should be fun. So we started the week off taking on the Texas Tech Red Raiders and completely destroying them 56-10. Our offense racked up 619 yards of total offense. Defense gave up almost 300 yards. We were led by Greg Washington. He threw for 348 yards, 5 touchdowns through the air. He did have 1 interception. The ground game is a little concerning. I'm not going to front, man. The ground game has not been what I thought it was going to be this year. Ira Harris went over 100 yards, no touchdowns. Philip Fagan, 50 yards and a score. And Craig had 24 yards and a touchdown. But it's the receiving core that has really stepped up big time this season. Trey Morgan, 6 catches for 101 yards and a touchdown. You had Tariq Larson, 4 catches, 156, and he had 2 scores. Will Johnson, 3 for 105 and a touchdown. Richie had 2 for 30 and a score. And James Alexander had 1 for 12 and a touchdown. We jump ahead to week 6, and we took on a stubborn Baylor team. We got blanked in the first quarter. We put up 28 points in the second quarter, kind of blew the game open. Then they come in and score 10 in the second, then 14 in the third, and we finally put the game away in the fourth quarter. This was a sloppy game all around. The offense, we turned the ball over 5 times that week. We did get 663 yards of total offense. Defense gave up nearly 500 yards to this Baylor offense. The run game, we shut them down, but it was the passing game that really hurt us. And this was probably Craig's worst game as a starting quarterback, 24 of 35. He did throw for 400 yards, 2 touchdowns, but he had 4 interceptions. He also, I believe he fumbled too, but the run game, still concerning, man. Ira only went for 110 yards and a touchdown, but Philip Fagan, 5 carries, 46 yards, and 3 rushing touchdowns. I saw a couple of comments that said Philip should get some more playing time. He should actually get some starts. It's going to be interesting to see what happens. Personally, I like Fagan getting more carries, but Ira has earned the right to be the starter this season. So it's going to be interesting to see what happens the rest of the way. But the wide receiving group, again, Trey Morgan stepping up big time, showing why he's the #1 wide receiver on this team. 5 grabs for 115 yards and a touchdown versus Baylor. That's back-to-back games for over 100 yards. But I think we have a star on defense. Brian Jones played everywhere this week versus Baylor. He finished with a record, an A&M record, 20 tackles. He had 19 solos, 4 TFLs. Our starting middle linebacker played a great game. I hate that, he had to get 20 tackles, but it just shows that he could play from sideline to sideline, and he made a lot of plays for us. But on the defensive side of the ball, it was the Corey Marks show. 6 tackles, 5 TFLs, and an A&M record 5 sacks in 1 game. We talked about it during the game. This was Corey Marks' coming out party. He's a 99 overall. He's the best player on our team, and he's finally starting to show it. And shout out to freshman David Sims. He led the way with 7 tackles. He had 2 sacks. Expect him to get a lot more playing time, is what Coach Thomas told us. This true freshman is a player. So we wrapped up the week against TCU, and it's another one of those high-powered offenses that gave us problems. It was 31-24 at halftime. We held them scoreless in the third, but then they were able to score 14 in the fourth. But we were able to put up 36 points in the second half and finally pulled away. Again, defense had a tough time against this TCU offense. They almost racked up 600 yards of total offense. They had 241 yards of rushing, 338 yards through the air. Our defense has to step up. A lot of the problems are in the secondary. Jason Harris just is not getting it done at corner. coach and the defense, man, we really got to – I feel like coach and the defensive coordinator really need to focus on the secondary I feel like coach and the defensive coordinator really need to focus on the secondary the rest of this season, because we're going to be playing against teams that can throw the ball all over the field. And TCU exposed our pass defense. We weren't able to get after the quarterback, and it hurt us. But talk about a bounce-back game for Craig Washington. 21 of 23, 395 yards through the air, 4 touchdowns. On the ground, Harris finally got going. 21 carries, 157, 2 scores. And you had Craig had 12 carries, 52 yards, and 2 touchdowns. Philip Fagan, 7 for 64. But again, the wide receiving group is stepping up. Richie had a big day, 5 grabs, 135, and 2 touchdowns, including a 75-yard bomb. Trey Morgan, his 3rd game in a row over 100 yards, 5 catches, 106, and 2 scores. They had Will Johnson, 4 for 54, Tariq, 4 for 38. And like I said, defensively, we were just not there. Jason Harris and Matt Scott, our 2 starting corners, had 8 tackles and 6 tackles. That's not good. Brian Jones had 6 tackles on the day. So did Jermaine Coco. Bill Jennings had 5. Kyle Butler had 5 as well. We didn't get any sacks, boys. No sacks. And the lone interception was Casey Buchanan at the end of the game, and he took it back to the house. But because of that big win, we jump up to the number 1 spot in the country. That's such a good feeling, man. That's our first time in the number 1 slot. Number 2 right now is Stanford. They're 6-0. Utah is number 3. They jumped up 5 spots. And you've got Notre Dame with 2 losses sitting at 4. Bama, 5. Washington in at 6. Texas is 7. Arizona up a spot to 8. Michigan State falls 8 spots to 9 after losing to Iowa by 8. Then you got Minnesota that rounds out your top 10. Georgia's in at 11. LSU is 12. Florida State 13. Illinois is 14. Ohio State is 15. South Alabama down 5 spots to 16. Michigan is 17. You got Cincinnati at 18. Iowa 19. Pittsburgh is in at 20. Arkansas, the Razorbacks, 21. Penn State is 22. Then you got Auburn in at 23. Utah State, 24. And then Indiana rounds out your top 25. And we got to say a big congratulations out to Craig Washington. Our starting QB was named Offensive Player of the Week in the NCAA after his big performance against TCU. 395 yards through the air and 6 total touchdowns. And then in week 6, Brian Jones won Defensive Player of the Week in the Big 12 after his 20-tackle performance. And then Craig Washington in week 5, he was named Offensive Player of the Week after just dominating Texas Tech. So it's great to see our players getting some recognition from some of the voters in the media. We've had a real tough time with the media these past couple seasons, but they're starting to realize that A&M is nothing to play with. But now it's time to look back. It's time for the top 5 plays from this past week, and let me tell you, this one was hard. We had a lot of great plays. I hope you guys enjoy it. We're starting things off with number 5. 1st and 10, 4 wide. Here's the play action. Load up, going deep. Let's go, Will. Let's go, Will Johnson. We did it, baby. Touchdown, Bears.
What?
Touchdown, Bears. It was like Black Bears and Bears all in one. Number 4. 1st and 10, empty backfield, 5 wide. Craig going to the air, rolls left. Fluff it, throw it. Throw it. Fred Foreman in the end zone. Touchdown, Bears. Let's go. Number 3, 3rd and 5. We spread them out 3 wide. Here comes the blitz. It's smoke again. There you go. Come on, Richie. There you go. Spit him out, Richie. Come on, Richie. Oh, big play, Richie Carroll. Big play, Richie Carroll. This is what he does. Touchdown, Bears. 75 yards to the crib. We've been waiting on that, Richie. Great play. Number 2. 1st and 10. We go 3 wide. And Craig keeps the option. Catches the block downfield. Come on. Come on, Craig. Run him over, Craig. Get in the end zone. Touchdown, Bears. Tell him to get in the weight room, C-Dub. Woo! Woo! Smoke. Get in the weight room, my guy. And here is your top play from this past week. 2nd and 6. Yes, sir, Buchanan. Yes, sir, Buchanan. Finally. 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 Thank you. Thank you.
House call. Game time, baby.
It's getting harder and harder every week to pick a top 5, man. We are doing some amazing things on the field right now. Sitting at 5-0. But I need you guys to do me a favor. If you see a big play or if you see something that happens on the field and you think it should be in the top 5, go ahead and leave it in the comments section. Timestamp it. I'll grab the play and we can add it to the top 5. I really do enjoy going back, watching the games and seeing the plays. But I do miss a lot. So if you guys can help me out with that, that would be great. So it is time to hit the recruiting trail. And guys, this recruiting class is really starting to take shape. Before I mentioned, we were able to pull a 4-star wide receiver in Dominic Foreman. He is the cousin of Fred Foreman, who is on the roster right now. We picked up Bryson Williams, a big defensive tackle from Illinois. Then we got Kyle Wright, outside linebacker from Hawaii. Mike Warren, our first 5-star prospect. He's from Lufkin, Texas, the number 2 wide receiver in this class. And it just got better after that, fellas. We picked up a defensive tackle. This is Paul Wilson from Camden, Arkansas, 5'11", 286 pounds, the number 7 defensive tackle in this class. This guy is going to be a monster for us. We got some help on the offensive line. This is Patrick Gray from Ripley, Mississippi, 6'3", 340 pounds, 2-star prospect. He's more of a project. I expect to see him play a lot of backup playing time. 72 pass block, 72 run block, 76 impact block. We add another running back. This is Corey Green from Rifle, Colorado. 6'1", 207 pounds, the number 23 running back in this class. And guys, I think we found another one. 87 speed, 85 agility, 83 acceleration. He can break tackles. He's semi-elusive, great stiff arm, great carry. This guy is going to be special in the next couple years. We're going to have a crowded backfield between Harris next year, Philip Fagan, Anthony Bryant, Corey Green. We've got another running back that's on a red shirt this year. We have a lot of running backs, and that's a good problem to have. But I think I'm most excited about this young man right here. This is Ashton Ryan, a 6'2", 239-pound tight end from Harker Heights, Texas. 4-star prospect, the number 13 tight end in this class. And this kid is going to be something special. This might be one of the most elite tight ends in the country today. 84 speed, 86 acceleration, great hands. He's got great spec catch, great route running, great release. I think the thing I like most about him, you can split him out wide, put him in the slot. You can put him outside the numbers. He could be a wide receiver for you as well. Great frame. He can break tackles. He's elusive. Great juke move to be 6'2", 239. Is he a starting tight end day one? I think so. We add another wide receiver to the group. This is Curtis Larkin from Calhoun, Georgia, 6 foot, 191, number 82 in this class, a 3-star prospect. We liked him because of his speed. He's got a lot of upside, great route running, great catch in traffic, but his hands need some work. So look for him to probably get the red shirt in his freshman season. We pick up a 4-star athlete. This is Luke Baker, 6'4", 241, 4-star prospect from West Virginia, the number 20 athlete in this class. And this guy plays a lot of different positions on the field. 89 speed, 79 agility, 91 acceleration. He can play running back. He can play wide receiver. He can play tight end. This dude is just a weapon. Doesn't play on the defense side of the ball. His tackling is not that great. But we can put him in the backfield. We can split him out at tight end. It's going to be interesting to see what Coach Thomas can do with him. Here's another offensive lineman, Jeff Williams from Mississippi, 6'7", 264, 3-star tackle, number 17 in this class. And again, he's more of a backup player. 79 pass block, 74 run block, 82 impact block, 79 strength. Just adding more depth to that offensive line. And how about this? We add another offensive lineman, man. That makes 3 already in this class. This is Byron Smith from Hope, Arkansas, 6'1", 294, 4-star prospect, the number 2 center in this class. We are going to be backed up at center, but this kid is going to be something special. 82 strength, 81 run block, 81 pass block, 80 run block, 79 impact block. We have, I think, 1 freshman center already. We have a junior center. So we have 2 centers that are freshmen right now. Wow. So we're just adding more depth, man. There's going to be a lot of position battles. Again, a lot of these guys can play different spots on the field. Coach Thomas is going to have his hands full. I think it's a good problem to have, especially on the offensive line. To the top of the board we go. Our number one player right now is Ernest Carroll from Florida, 6'2", 297, five-star defensive tackle, number 2 in the country. He comes in as an 80 overall, and again, he's just a big body. He's going to be a hole filler for us. 80 power move, 78 block shed, 87 tackle. We like this kid. We're just trying to add more depth. We're losing 3 defensive tackles already. We got two already committed. We're looking for one more to kind of fill out. Here's a free safety that we're looking at. Really going into the state of Florida and pulling some players, man. This is Chad Samuel, 6'2", 201. He's another 4-star prospect, the number 2 free safety in this class. Again, I think he reminds me a lot of Nick Ginn. Amazing speed, 96 speed, great tackling ability. The coverage isn't that great, but again, he's a thumper. He's going to put his face mask in your chest, and that's what we like. We're trying to sit close to home with this one. This is Leon Hester from Mountain Home, Arkansas. 6'4", 284, 4-star prospect, number 8 defensive tackle. And honestly, he might be better than Ernest Carroll. Great power move, great block shed. The tackling is a little bit less than Carroll's, but I like the power moves for this guy. Also, I like the frame at 6'4", 284. Again, we're just looking for one more D tackle to fill out that roster. We have one that's already on the he's a true freshman right now, getting some playing time. So adding 3 more really kind of fills that need that we have. Sticking on the defensive line, this is John Burns from Florida, the number 3 defensive end. He's a 5-star prospect, 6'2", 248. We're looking for somebody to step up as Kyle Butler gets ready to walk out the door. 78 speed, 84 power move, 81 finesse, 78 block shed. But we do have a competition right now because Tommy Washington is no joke. 6'4", 240 from Woods Cross, Utah, the number 35 defensive end. He's favoring us over Texas, Pittsburgh, Clemson, and Florida State. And I kind of like this kid. Great speed, 80 speed, 68 agility, 89 acceleration. The blocking traits just aren't really there compared to Barnes. 76 power move, 77 finesse, 78 block shedding. He can tackle, great hit power, great pursuit. If he sat a year, I think he could come back next year and in 2 years and be one of the best defensive ends on our roster. Now here's some new players that we have added to the board. Starting off with Corey Fawarda, 6', 181, a corner from Kentucky, 3-star prospect. His big brother played for Grambling State a few years back, and he was a free safety. And this kid comes in as a gem, 92 speed, 92 agility, 85 acceleration, great play rec, 84 man coverage, 82 zone. The only thing he can't do is press. Again, depth at the cornerback position. We need help. We're being exposed on defense, especially in the pass game. So anytime we can bring in a corner that can cover, that's going to help us out. Looking for more depth on that offensive line. This is Charles Stevens from Tennessee, 6'4", 317, a JUCO prospect, number 72 guard in this class. And again, our thinking behind this, more help on that offensive line. Great speed, 71 speed for a big fella like that. You love to see it. 90 strength, great pass blocker, solid run block, solid impact block. I don't think that he could come in and start day one, but he could push for playing time early. And I like to call this an insurance pickup. This is Sam Hendricks from Vermont, 6'3", 259, number 25 defensive tackle in this class. In case we don't get those top 2 defensive tackles that we're looking at, Sam could come in and be a solid player for us. Great power move, solid finesse. He's just slow. 51 speed, 56 agility, can get off blocks, great tackle, solid hit power, great pursuit, great play rec. Again, if we're not able to get those first 2 defensive tackles that are at the top of our list, Sam Hendricks can come in and really help this team out. And as we said before, this class is more big name prospects. This is actually the first time we've had the number 1 recruiting class in the country. We've got 1 5-star, 4 8-stars, 2 3-stars, and 1 2-star. It's going to be interesting to see how Coach Thomas is able to work all these guys into the system next season. We're only losing 10 players. We're losing 3 defensive tackles, Kyle Butler at defensive end, but I could see some juniors looking to declare early. Jason Harris might be one player, but we're going to have a lot of returning starters next season. And, we're going to be having a lot of these freshmen who are going to be looking for early playing time. And I just don't know how. I think Mike Warren could definitely come in and play early. He's one of those special prospects. You can put him in the slot. You can put him, a lot of different places. At 6', 205, this kid is going to be a playmaker for this offense in the future. So we are riding a 5-game win streak right now, and we're looking good. Defense still needs some work, and Coach Thomas seems to be very happy with his offense. We talked to him about the defensive struggles, and we also talked to him about what he's looking forward to most in the second half of this season.
Coach Thomas, thanks for taking the time out this week.
Thanks for having me again.
All right, now let's jump in. The past week, the offense has really taken over. Can you talk about dominance the group has shown, and have we seen their full capability?
Yeah, I've been impressed with what our offense has been doing. I think Craig has had a great first half to the season. Our wide receivers have really stepped up. Trey Morgan's kind of separated himself in the group and in the country. I feel like he's the best wide receiver in the country. But the group that we have in the wide receiving room, they're just great. They're all great. From Richie being a deep threat, Will Johnson coming across the middle and being in the slot, and then you got Tariq too with all of his speed. So I think the offense has done a great job. The run game, I wish the run game was a little bit better. I feel like we're off to a slow start in the run game, but it's only the first half of the season. We still have a lot more football to play.
All right. Now, you've mentioned Craig Washington. He's placed himself in the top tier of QBs in college football. Talk about his maturation.
I think we knew we had something special in Craig when we started recruiting him his sophomore year in high school. He has definitely matured a lot being in the program. Only a redshirt sophomore, a junior in school. He's a straight A student. He is always helping out the young guys, even though he's just a redshirt sophomore. He's always watching film. The kid he gets it. And he's starting to show on Saturdays why he is the best quarterback in college football.
While one group has shown dominance, it hasn't been the same for the defensive side of the ball. And that's where our first viewer's questions come into play. From Blix24, he simply asked, what's going on with the defense?
Well, thanks, Blix, for the question. I think our defense is just playing better teams. Honestly, we're playing a lot of great offensives in the past couple of weeks. Sure, we're not, as dominant as we could be, but we're getting the job done. I still have a lot of belief in that group. We've got a lot of great players. We have a lot of great players on that side of the ball. And we just need them to step up. We've got a tough stretch of games coming up here this week, and it's going to be important for them to play their best football that they can play.
Our next question comes from Jacob Kerr, and he's asked, Coach, your team is ranked number 1 for the first time in school history. How do you keep the team grounded knowing that they have the ultimate target on their backs?
Great question, Jacob. Honestly, we have a goal in mind. Last year, I feel like we got gypped out of playing for a national championship, and a lot of guys that should have had the chance to show what they can do on the national stage didn't get that chance. This year, though, we're focused. This group is focused on bringing home a national championship to Conway, and that's what we have to remind ourselves every day. Polls are one thing, ratings are one thing, but at the end of the year, that's the main focus. Holding up that crystal ball, that's our main focus. And I believe the team knows that, and I believe that the team believes in that as well.
Now here's a two-parter from Mass Aggression Aquatics asked, Coach, up until the last game, the young O-line has struggled to open holes for the running backs. Any chance of changing it up? On D, any chance of the DC bringing more heat via blitzing?
Appreciate the question, Mr. Aggression Aquatics. Great name, by the way. With the offensive line, we're young on the offensive line. Very young. Maynard is our only returning starter from last season. When you have a lot of freshmen and sophomores getting playing time for the first time, it's going to take some time for them to kind of gel together and be able to produce on the field. I don't see us changing the offensive line. I don't see us benching anybody unless the play just becomes bad. They've had some games where they've shined. They've had some games where it was tough. But I think that this group will continue to grow together, and they will show why they're the best offensive line in the country. As far as the defensive side of the ball, blitzing is not quite our thing. We have a great defensive line led by Corey Mark and Kyle Butler. We actually get after the quarterback pretty well with only 4 down linemen. But, I feel like sometimes we do have to mix in some blitzes. So you might see that this week where, we might send a 5th player or even a 6th player. It just depends on the offense that we're playing. A lot of these teams run the spread, so it's going to be hard to bring, that 5th person on a blitz when we're going up against a 4-wide or 5-wide set. But, we could definitely look to see a lot. You could definitely look to see a few more blitzes being worked into our defensive game plan. Great question.
And our final question comes from Roland. He's asked about a report that Power 5 teams have asked about your availability. Care to comment?
I see Roland's trying to start up some controversy. I appreciate the question, Roland. I'm a Bear. I am an Arkansas A&M Black Bear. I don't plan on going anywhere for a while. Our focus right now is winning a national championship, and that's what the goal is. As far as the future goes, I have a long contract here. I don't plan on going anywhere.
All right, Coach, thank you so much for taking the time to talk to us today. You have a wonderful day.
Well, I appreciate you. You have a great day, too, and go Bears. It's always fun sitting down with Coach, getting to pick his brain about the team and what he's looking forward to most towards the end of the season. This is going to be a tough stretch of games for our Black Bears. We hit the road this week to take on 3-3 A-State. Again, this is one of those teams that plays us tough every year. Billy Wilson is gone. They've got a lot of new starters on the offensive side of the ball. We'll take a look at that before the game next week. And then we return home for homecoming. We've got Nebraska. This should be a good game, man. It's the first time we've played them. Then we're back at home taking on number 23 Auburn. They're having a down year, 3-3 on the season. So, a couple of these games I feel like we can win. Definitely the A-State and Nebraska game. The Auburn game might be a little bit tough because, SEC teams play us tougher. But, again, these are all winnable games, and we have to win these games to stay number 1 and stay on that push to get to the national championship. And before we get out of here, let's take a look at the season stats. Craig Washington, 1,808 yards through the air, 17 touchdowns, 7 interceptions, man. He's throwing the ball a lot more this year than he did last year. He's getting a little sloppy. Hopefully he can fix that here in the second half of the season. On the ground, Ira Harris knocking on the door for 600 yards. We got to see him have a breakout game sometime soon. Last week, 157 yards. We need more of that. He does have 8 touchdowns on the year. Then you've got Philip Fagan, 386 and 6 scores. Craig showing off the legs, 227 and 5 scores. Out wide, Trey Morgan leading the team with 26 grabs for 464 and 5 scores. He's on a streak right now of 100-yard games. I believe it's 4 in a row. Then you've got Will Johnson, second on the team, 20 catches, 371 and 4 scores. Richie finally got going last week versus TCU, 13 grabs, 209 and 3 scores. Tariq Larson, 13 grabs, 301 and 3 touchdowns. The passing game, again, these 4 guys are getting a lot of touches. Will Rogers, 8 for 56 at tight end. You got DT, Donald Thomas, 5 for 140 and a score. Adam Lawson, great find for us. He's a great blocker, and he could come out and make catches too. 3 catches, 64 yards. Foreman has 3 for 53 and a touchdown. And then Alexander has 2 for 38 and a score. Defensively, Bryant Jones leading the team, 44 tackles, coming off a 20-tackle game a couple weeks ago. Then you got Matt Scott, second on the team with 21 tackles. I do not like seeing my corners this high on the tackle list. I'm not going to lie to you. Jason Harris has 19. Nick Ginn with 17. Will Mosby with 16. And you got Bill Jennings with 16. Dustin Carey, 16 tackles. Jermaine Coco with 16. And Corey Mark with 15. There's Kyle Butler with 14 tackles. True freshman David Sims has 11. Corey Bentley, the other defensive end, he's got 9 tackles on the year. Calvin Mullins has 9 as well. And then there's Ben Bowen with 8 tackles. Corey Mark is playing like a man possessed right now. He's got 10 sacks on the season. There's Caleb Walker with 2. James Riley has 2 as well. So does David Sims. Kyle Butler, very quiet for his senior season. Only 2 sacks. Hopefully he could turn that up here in the second half of the season. They've got Corey Bentley with a sack. Calvin Mullins has one, and so does Brian Jones. Turnover department, Matt Scott leads the team with 3 picks. Jermaine Coco has 2. Bill Jennings, Carey, Anderson, Buchanan, and Jones each have 1. You notice somebody not on that list with no interceptions this season, and he's supposed to be our number 1 corner, Jason Harris. And defensive touchdowns, Corey Mark has a scoop and score, and then Casey Buchanan, the redshirt junior, the transfer, he's got a pick 6. In the kicking game, Keaton Holt, perfect so far, 3 of 3 with a long of 50, and he's perfect on extra points. Great to see that for the redshirt sophomore. Punting game, we've only punted the ball twice. Got to get that number up, man. I got to stop going for it so much on 4th down. He's got 2 punts for 88 yards. Return game, Tariq Larson has not gotten loose yet. The kickoff returns, he's got 18 returns for 542. And then the punt returns, 13 returns for 198 and averaging about 15 yards a return, which is a good look. I think he's due. He's due to have a breakout game in returns. I think it's coming soon. So next up, we're taking on 3-3 A-State in the rivalry game. This should be a great game. You know, A-State always plays this tough. They have a new offense. Billy Wilson is gone. New running back and a great wide receiving group, and their corners are really good, man. We'll take a look at their roster next week when we take on A-State and Jonesboro. Then we've got Nebraska and Auburn. Should be a fun stretch of games, fellas. I hope you guys are ready. Thank you guys so much for joining me today. If you enjoyed the video, make sure you smash that thumbs up button. Subscribe if you're brand new. Don't forget to ring that bell, join the Noti Squad, and make sure you guys hit those links down in my description. Follow your boy on Facebook, Twitter, and IG, and come through and join the Discord fan for exclusive content. And we'll talk from Jonesboro when we take on the 3-3 Red Wolves. Have a great day, guys. 2 fingers in the air. Peace. Big thank you to all the members of the channel and the Patreons. If you would like to become a member or a Patreon, hit the links down below in my description.